Hey looters, today I have something that might just make you rage. It's a revision of the Berserker Barbarian. It's a subclass that I think needs to be fixed a little bit to make it more fun and viable so that it does what a Berserker should. Today on Flutes Loot. If you're new here, I'm Flutes, Opal is my wife, and together we have created Flutes Loot, this YouTube channel, and flutesloot.com, where you can read articles, over 100 of them, on different D&D topics, and you can comment and engage with us in dialogue, either here or there. And there is an article that goes over my Barbarian Berserker homebrew revision, if you want to read the article and see all the notes there of why I did what I did, and you can find that in the description below, so you can follow that over there. Now what I did was take its weaknesses and try to make those more interesting, like the way you gain exhaustion from your frenzy. And then I also wanted to make some of the abilities just go a little bit further to make them even more useful. So let's start at level 3. Frenzy. This is the big Berserker ability where you just get a bonus action attack while you're raging. And as a barbarian, your attacks hurt. And so gaining another attack is really big, especially at just level 3 when you don't have extra attack yet. What I did was I made it so you can enter your frenzy in the same bonus action as you rage, and you can make your frenzy attack in the same bonus action that you rage and frenzy. So you can do them all at once, and in round 1, you are making your frenzy attack as a bonus action. You are raged and you're frenzied. The second problem with this subclass ability, frenzy, is how you gain exhaustion when you use frenzy, which was a heavy price to pay considering frenzy wasn't that good. What I did was I said, let's make the Berserker more interesting in that no one really ignores exhaustion and no one really is better at getting rid of exhaustion than other subclasses. So let's make the Berserker be that subclass. So now when you frenzy in my version of the Berserker, you are immune to the effects of exhaustion. So if you've been exhausting yourself during your frenzies, while you rage, you forget all about how exhausted you are and it does not matter. You ignore the effects of exhaustion while you are in your frenzied rage state of mind. You still gain a level of exhaustion when you finish your frenzied rage. Now, when you long rest, instead of being the normal character who can reduce their exhaustion level by 1 when they long rest, you get to reduce it by 2. And if you short rest or long rest, you can spend a hit die to reduce your exhaustion level by 1. So when you long rest, you could potentially drop your exhaustion level by 3. That's huge compared to the 1 most people can do. And when you short rest, you can potentially lower your exhaustion level by 1 by just spending 1 hit die for that purpose. So now, yeah, you get into your frenzy to do attacks much faster, and exhaustion is not as scary to you. And if you get exhausted for other reasons, you are the subclass that is good at overcoming exhaustion and persevering through it. Next, at level 6, we have Mindless Rage. The Berserker's mind becomes unreachable to things like frightened and charmed conditions. So enchanters, watch out if you're fighting a Berserker because you are not getting in that head while they are raging. But I wanted to go a step further because that's still kind of niche. Not every fight is going to have that. So what's like one other thing we can add? Oh, you resist psychic damage now when you are in your rage because of Mindless Rage. You can't be charmed, can't be frightened. You resist psychic damage because your brain is just not registering these things. This is going to give you a leg up on the totem warrior bear totem barbarian who resists all damage except psychic. Now there's a counterpart that at least does resist psychic damage in addition to your other rage resistances. I think this is just a great addition that's pretty harmless, and there's a lot more psychic effects being added into the game, so why not just make the Berserker a little better against psychic damage? I say let's go. At level 10, I pretty much completely reworked how Intimidating Presence works. I'll put up how it works on the screen so you can read it, but to summarize, there's 2 ways I did it. One is the out of combat way you can frighten someone, which is to intimidate them, and I made it so you can use your strength instead of your charisma to do intimidate checks, and you can frighten people out of combat. In combat, I made it so when you land a critical hit on an enemy, they become frightened, no saving throw, of you. And until they move away from you or they pass a saving throw that happens at the end of their turn, they will continue to be frightened of you. And so this is now a passive ability that you as a barbarian can just celebrate when you land critical hits that you're going to make your enemy afraid of you. And out of combat, if you want to try to scare someone into peeing their pants, you can flex your muscles instead of your silvered tongue that you don't have as a barbarian, probably, to frighten others. And yeah, it has all the other stuff of like once they're out of it, they're immune for 24 hours, and there's like a certain distance they have to move away, or if they get out of line of sight of you, it ends. So there's all that usual stuff with fright that mitigates how crippling it can be to your enemies, especially because we're applying this without a saving throw if you hit them with a critical hit. And so if they end it and get out of the way or whatever, then it's over and they don't have to worry about it again. And then at level 14, I reworked how retaliation works a little bit. I just changed the wording a little bit to make it clear that if you're using like a reach weapon, for example, or something that goes beyond 5 feet, you can retaliate that same distance with that weapon. I also played a little bit more into the hit dice that I talked about at level 3 with exhaustion. So now when you hit someone with your retaliate attack, not any attack, just your retaliate reaction attack, you can roll the hit die, add your constitution as normal, but you're not healing yourself. You are adding it as damage to your retaliatory reaction attack. I think this is great because the Berserker being angry about being hit with an attack, retaliating with their life essence into ending whoever has wronged them. I just think that's a pretty benign bonus to grant to it, but it makes it just a little bit cooler and it allows you to find more ways to use your hit dice. And if you don't know what I mean by saying that, I mean a lot of games players are not utilizing short rests, so hit dice are pretty useless. Any ways that we can find outside of the short rest to use hit dice, I'm in favor of that. So to summarize, your frenzy, you can get into it right away and start attacking, and you're really good at ignoring exhaustion during your frenzy and mitigating it and healing it when you're out of combat. You gain psychic damage as well as immunity to fright and charm. Your intimidating presence is different based on critical hits and your strength out of combat. And retaliation is a little bit cooler and a little bit more clear in what you can do with it. So that's the Berserker now. I think it looks a lot more like what the Berserker is meant to be, which is basically what the Zealot was when it came out in Xanathars. I really like the Zealot, but I wanted the Berserker to still maintain its identity, even though the Zealot is this barbarian that just won't go down. It just keeps fighting after death. The Berserker is like its own thing. I did not want it to lose its identity to the Zealot. Now, I think they're very different, but they both can play into this ultimate rage, let's get it done archetype. When I do these revisions, it's really important to me that I get them right. I think about them a lot, but 2 brains, 3 brains, lots of brains are better than 1. So I would love it if you would cast message in the comment section below to tell me your thoughts. What works with this for you that you love and you don't want me to change? What is lackluster, or you think I didn't go far enough, or you think I went too far? I want to perfect this. I want any revision I do to be talked about and have people share it with their friends and be like, hey, if you're playing a Berserker, try Flute's Loot's version of it. It's way cooler. I'd love to hear that happens. That would be a dream come true. Until then, pull out your great axe, rage, and hit that subscribe button. I personally can't get enough of D&D content, and so if you're like me, you're going to end up subscribing to a lot of D&D channels. I consume a lot of D&D content. I'll see you in the next video. Until I see you again, take care and happy adventuring. See you later.